Narcissism is described as excessive interest in or admiration of oneself and one's physical appearance, selfishness involving a sense of entitlement, lack of empathy, and a need for admiration, self-centeredness arising from failure to distinguish the self from external objects. Welcome to this week's episode of Mental Wellness Insights, bringing sunlight into mental health. In this week's episode, Dr. Carla Manly, a clinical psychologist, a life fulfillment expert, and an author based in California, speaks to us about narcissism. If you're watching this video and you haven't subscribed, kindly do so. Blessings. Now we are talking about narcissism, and we go right ahead on it, and we ask, what is narcissism?
What is narcissism? Narcissism is a tendency to be concerned only with oneself. Narcissism occurs on a spectrum. We all have narcissism within us. We need to be a bit narcissistic, otherwise we would never eat or drink or take care of ourselves. So again, it occurs on a continuum. When we have a healthy amount of narcissism, we consider our needs and the needs of other people. We consider ourselves and other, people's opinions. Now, when narcissism becomes toxic, when somebody is too concerned with themselves, too self-absorbed, then we start seeing heavy narcissistic traits. And when it's really heavy then and pronounced, we can ultimately find that somebody has narcissistic personality disorder. And personality disorders occur when traits become so pronounced and so part of a person's character that they interfere with healthy relationships. Most often healthy, intimate relationships, because someone who's a narcissist can do great at work, great in their career, great at politics, but when it comes to being a good partner, a really good parent, that's where we tend to see that narcissists don't do well at all, because they are not at all kind and considerate and consistently thoughtful of the other person and their needs.
So what causes narcissism?
Narcissism is believed to have somewhat of a genetic component, as with most personality and psychological characteristics. But generally, narcissism tends to really take hold as a result of parenting and childhood experiences. So if you have a parent who either ignores the child and leaves the child on their own too much, to where the child is fending for themselves and always thinking, oh, I have to take care of me, I have to take care of me, I have to look out for me, then that child ends up being, very self-absorbed and self-interested. If you have parents, another way that it occurs is when parents, you have, for example, a father or a mother who take the child and treat the child as a pseudo partner. So the marriage is not a healthy marriage. And instead of being partnered with the significant other, the parent takes an interest in the child, generally self-serving, and might say, oh, well, let's go do this together. Or I like to do soccer, so I'll support you in soccer because I love soccer. So the child never knows what it is to have a healthy parent-child relationship. They know what it is to be experienced being the golden child, because they don't realize that they are a surrogate partner, but they feel special and all important. Another way narcissism can arise is, and none of these necessarily occur solo, they can sometimes occur in concert with other forces, is when a child is babied. So, for example, the parents are gone and elder sisters or elder brothers really baby the child and watch over the child, and the child does not experience natural consequences, but they're doted on too much. And so, really, overall, it's important for all children to experience healthy love, healthy attunement, somebody seeing them, and when they mess up, not criticizing them or ignoring. And that's often what happens with the narcissist. The parents are too busy to give the child healthy consequences, so they grow up thinking they're special, that they're immune to natural consequences. And we all need to have healthy natural consequences. Otherwise, if we're protected and shielded, so for an example, if a parent has, a business and they don't want people to know that the child is misbehaving or whatever, they may criticize the child and sanction the child, but not give serious consequences, important consequences that really help the child learn. So then the child naturally learns, I'm above things. And that all of those forces feed narcissism.
Mm-hmm. So basically, we are saying that parenting is a major cause of narcissist tendencies.
Absolutely, Pamela. And the wounded narcissist, the one who has experienced childhood trauma and not been coached in how to notice the trauma, notice emotions, feel emotions, process emotions, that can really foster narcissism, because then the narcissist learns to hold everything inside. So that's, they're not processing their emotions. They're not processing, oh, and this is a really important piece here, Pamela. Part of being a healthy child, part of being a healthy adult, is noticing when we mess up, because we're all imperfect. We all mess up. So having someone guide you in a conscientious way toward, oh, I made a mistake. It doesn't mean I'm stupid, and it doesn't mean I'm so special I don't need natural healthy consequences, but it means that I'm supposed to learn to self-reflect. What did I do?
Yeah.
What wasn't healthy about it, or what was healthy about it? How can I apologize, make amends, and do better next time? So the narcissist skips over that very important part of self-awareness and self-responsibility, and instead jumps straight into, it's all about me, or it's all your fault. I'm the special one. I'm okay. I'm safe. I'm perfect. All the while inside, they don't really believe it because they know they made an error. But the wounding continues because they're not willing to look inside to say, I'm flawed naturally. We are all flawed naturally. What in this situation can I learn from to improve myself and my relationships and be a better person? So instead of doing that, which really builds self-awareness, self-esteem, true sense of self, they put a big barrier up, sort of the tough guy or all about me, tough woman or tough person, tough male exterior, this exterior of toughness. But inside that is a very weak individual.
Yeah.
So narcissists will appear very tough and strong, but on the inside, they are one of the most wounded, damaged personality types around.
Yeah. So this is a person being judgmental. So for covering up on what is inside of them.
Absolutely. And that's a very good point about being judgmental. Narcissists are generally very judgmental, very right, wrong, black, white thinking. Why are they that way? Because again, they don't have the inner capacity. They haven't developed it, to hear other people. They're very good at voicing their opinions, talk, 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 talk. But when it comes to really being able to reflect on what they're saying or what other people are saying, they don't work on that skill.
Mm-hmm. So, what are the symptoms?
The symptoms of narcissism, there are so many, and we've talked about a couple: the right, wrong, good, bad thinking, being judgmental, being hypercritical of others. Now, they're often very critical of themselves, but they'll never say anything about it. They just have this nasty inner critic going on and snipping, snipping, snipping. They also tend to be quite aggressive. Many narcissists are very bullying in nature. They tend to lack kindness, compassion, emotional intelligence. They are often very good in the business world because they're good, and in politics even, because they're good at getting their needs met. They're like this big bulldozer that'll bulldoze through anyone and anything to get their needs met. Yet they can also be very charismatic. So they can put on a very nice guy or nice woman facade, but when push comes to shove, when you get them behind closed doors, they're often very abusive. They're often addicts to something, whether it's addicted to work, whether it's addicted to success, addicted to, substances, addicted to philandering, extramarital affairs, because all of those are because they aren't willing to work on things that truly matter inside the self. So they go into the external world big time.
So this is not a well-balanced personality as such.
No. With any personality disorder, Pamela, the person is not well balanced. They do not have, because to have true balance, we need to have a solid relationship with our internal world.
Yes.
We need to be able to have an ability to really connect, because balance means, hey, I go out into the work world and I do what I need to do, and I can let that go and come home and balance myself by, connecting with my partner, connecting with my children. But often the narcissist will come home from work and then go straight into continuing work mode or self mode in some other way. They will work on their projects or their hobbies or their needs, but really saying, okay, well, I have a son and I want to spend time with my son, and I want to spend time with my wife, and I want to spend time doing things with my partner or my husband, whatever it is. No, it's all about, hey, I'm first, I'm important, I want to do what means making me feel good. Now, if something comes up that makes them feel good, and there's a barbecue happening, and they say, oh, I don't know how to cook, but at the barbecue, they want to show everyone how cool they are and how wonderful they are, they may put on an apron and man the barbecue. But they won't do it unless they're getting applause from other people, because that's the other piece about narcissists. They love applause, meaning they love attention. So they might be the class clown. They may be the person out dating one person after another because they want the attention. They love being in the spotlight. So at work, they are often the manager or the boss. In parties, they're often the person, talking, long in conversations to keep everybody listening about their exploits or what they've done. And they just really like feeling powerful, feeling in control. And it's not that those things are necessarily negative, right? But with the narcissist, they're pronounced to the point where they don't make enough space for emotional connection, for other people's opinions at work or wherever. They will often say, hey, I have the final say in everything. I'm right. And so those are some of the pieces about the narcissist. And again, going back to the piece that you mentioned about judgmentalness, they will tend to be very negative, and maybe not in public because, we tend to be more careful in public now, but they're often very judgmental, very racist, very critical, because they don't look at how important it is to have balance overall, to love other people, not without a motive, not without, people buying their product or voting for them or whatever it is. It's just about, you won't find the narcissist generally donating things or donating their time unless they're getting a tax write-off. They won't do it just to be good. They're often also very much abusive particularly in their intimate relationships. They'll be emotionally abusive, spiritually abusive, sexually abusive, withholding sex or demanding sex when it's not wanted. Anything they can do to exert control, to make everything on their terms. And that's the narcissist. The narcissist wants to live on their terms. You can see, some people who are listening might think, well, this doesn't sound so bad, going around in a world that everything is on my terms. Yet the true downside is, if we go through life in a snow globe, and that's where the narcissist lives, in a snow globe that is all theirs, all created for them and by them, you have necessarily not truly connected with other people. You may have a lot of people you call friends, but you won't ever really have let them into your heart, because you're not letting your own self into your heart. And so when you live in a snow globe, you'll die in that snow globe. You won't truly have experienced all the parts of yourself that can learn and grow by coming outside of your snow globe.
Yeah. So what I'm getting from here is that it is very important for us to go back to our parenting ways, and probably go back to assisting people on the balancing parenthood, so that so many of these personality disorders are abated. Is it so?
Absolutely. And it's a terrific point, Pamela, because parenting in an attuned way. Many parents say, oh, I don't have time to parent properly. I'll let the nanny do it, or, I'll put the kids in their room or whatever it is. That's not parenting. So we want to really first think about, do we want children? Be mindful. We're bringing another person into the world. Do we like children? Unfortunately, the narcissist won't pause to think about that. They'll think, oh, well, I'm supposed to have a kid. I don't like kids, but I'm going to have one because I think little girls are cute, or little boys are fun, or they'll be a mini me. So what we really want to do is first think, do I want to have children? And if we do want to have children, even if you need a nanny, want a nanny, whatever's happening, really think about how you can attune to your child. When you're with your child, see your child, be with your child, ask them what their interests are, have natural, consistent consequences. And narcissists are terrible with consistency, because one day they'll want something, the next day they won't. One day they will set a boundary, the next day they don't care about it. One day they're going to be gentle, the next day they're in a bad mood and they're going to be really hard. So the narcissist is very much like this Rocky Mountains, all of these mountains going up and down. They don't notice it because they're in it and they're doing what they want to do. They don't realize that the child or the partner living on the opposite end of that is getting very confused and erratic because everything is changing all the time. One day mommy is nice or daddy's nice, the next day daddy's mean and a bully. And so it's very hard. So when we're parenting, we want to do our work before we're parenting, our emotional work, any healing, so that we can parent from a place of understanding what it is to see a child, raise a child, attune to a child in healthy ways. Mm-hmm. Now, if you're already a parent, then hey, just get some therapy, start doing your work, because here's the beauty about personality disorders. Personality disorders are difficult to change. They are. But for certain personality disorders, medication helps. For some, like narcissistic personality disorder, it's more about doing the work, going to therapy, doing the work again and again and again, spending time instead of always thinking about business or, your next performance or your next, exercise mission. Spend some time driving to and from work, or while you're in the kitchen or tinkering in the garage, thinking about, oh, here's a part of myself. I was really mean to my daughter the other day, or my partner says that I don't spend enough quality time with him or her. What are some things about me that I can shift and keep working on to develop this part of myself? And sure, the narcissist, like everybody else, will mess up now and again. But the beautiful part about that is that when we mess up, whether we're riding a bike or practicing yoga or painting a picture or writing a book, if we notice where we've messed up and just say, oh, I messed up. I'm so sorry. How can I improve it? And I think that when we take that attitude, what it does, at first it's unfamiliar and scary because narcissists hate saying, I'm sorry. They hate taking personal accountability. But when you learn to do it just as a fact of life, again, even if you're working with a child and you snap at a child, or you were inconsistent with a child or a partner, if you're able to say, I'm sorry, I was stressed, I shouldn't bark at you, I apologize. Let me listen to what you have to say. So when we do that, this is the beauty of it, Pamela. We heal the self and we heal the interpersonal relationship. And here's the other thing. We heal the person that we've worked with, who the child or the adult or the coworker who has been barked at or hurt. And anyone who happened to be listening, a passerby, somebody in the supermarket, somebody at work, if it happened at work, is going, wow, there's an adult who takes personal responsibility. That is amazing. And so every time, and so a narcissist isn't doomed to be a narcissist. A person is not doomed to live out their flaws, the flaws that they likely inherited from their parents. We all have not only the power, Pamela, but the responsibility to work on ourselves bit by bit. It's a lifelong journey. I'll be working on myself forever. Yeah. And when we take that attitude, it's no longer a burden. It's just like, oh, well, this is just a fun part of life. I get to work on myself so that tomorrow I can be a little bit better.
Yeah. We always want to be a better person than we are at the moment. Now, what are the red flags? What red flags should couples look for before engagement or marriage?
Okay, so that's a very good question, Pamela. And I've worked with so many clients who marry narcissists and don't realize the person's a narcissist until they're married. And one of the reasons that is so is that the narcissist, as I said earlier, tends to be very charismatic, meaning they can be the funny guy or the funny woman or the sweet, individual, the giving individual. But once they've captured the person they want to capture, then the mask falls off. So if you're with someone who's a very skilled narcissist, you may not find out until you're already married. Okay. So that's one thing. So if you end up being married to a narcissist and you didn't realize it, don't blame yourself. That said, some of the red flags to look out for while you are dating is, does the narcissist, are you being manipulated? Are you being lied to? Are you with someone who is judgmental, who is a bully, who makes promises they don't keep? Are you with someone who floods you? It's often called love bombing, where they flood you with messages and texts and flowers and chocolates and presents. And if it's a female narcissist, are they cooking you meals and being super sweet and doing all these things? Not that those things are bad, but the idea is, do they drop them once the relationship is concretized? Being kind and cooking meals and doing things for other people is wonderful, but we must be able to carry on those activities, those dating behaviors, once we've married someone or committed to them, not drop them away once we've captured the person. And narcissists are known for that, where they will again put up that mask of being the perfect romantic partner, but then once they've captured someone, they're like, nah, I don't want to put in the work anymore, because they don't need to, because it goes back to their needs, not the partner's needs. So again, those are some of the red flags you can look out for, the judgment, the highly critical nature, but often a very skilled narcissist, somebody who's practiced it for decades and it's really ingrained in them, they're very astute, and they may not let anyone see those characteristics. Just like they can be a boss or a politician for years, and people won't realize that they're working with a narcissist until either there's, a business partnership or a marriage partnership, where then the mask falls off, because that's where narcissists most often get exposed. Either when they're in the public eye over and over and over again, like a politician on TV, where people are seeing a lot of the characteristics, or in an intimate relationship when they get so tired of being the mask on at work that the mask comes off at home.
So how do narcissists react in a relationship?
Narcissists are very good at doling out criticism and judgment. They are very bad at taking any feedback. And if you say something to a narcissist like, oh, this is my opinion, they'll say, stop criticizing me. You're criticizing me. You're bullying me. Because remember, the narcissist is all about the narcissist. So someone else having an opinion or feedback or an idea is very scary to the narcissist. They will become very defensive. Now, they'll never tell you they're scared because they're not in touch with that part of the personality, but they get very defensive because they are scared internally.
And narcissists are scared internally.
Oh, they're very scared inside. Again, going back to some of the things we've talked about before, when a child learns healthy, natural consequences, not being abused or beaten up by a parent or yelled at or treated with too much softness, they learn, oh, I can make a mistake and it'll be okay. I'll learn. The
Yeah.
narcissist never learns that. So they learn that being criticized means they're bad, they're wrong. Not that they made a mistake. So the
Mm.
narcissist has never learned to make friends with that natural part inside that's like, oh, I can make a mistake and someone can still love me.
Yeah.
I can make a mistake and someone will still. So again, they see everything in black white. If I make a mistake, I'm not loved. So
Yeah.
if you tell the narcissist, I love you, but I'm unhappy that you behave this way, it doesn't make sense to them.
Yeah.
They think love is all or nothing.
Okay. So how do we deal with when I realize I am into a relationship with a narcissist? How best do I deal with the situation?
First off, it's often very wise to have a psychotherapist support you, because dealing with a narcissist, it is one of the most difficult personality disorders to work with. Many psychotherapists will not work with narcissists themselves because they are so big, not physically. Their energy is just, they're always have an excuse. Big talkers, fast talkers, no, there's always an excuse. So the person who's living with the narcissist often needs support too, because often there's a lot of emotional abuse, sometimes physical abuse, sometimes financial abuse. The narcissist may have loads of money, but they'll take the other person's money just because they want it, or they'll be sexually abusive in certain ways just because it serves them. So again, the person who is living with the narcissist often needs a lot of support so that they can learn tactics for dealing with the narcissist. One of the worst things you can do with a narcissist, and it's a very fine line, is to become a doormat, because you will want to become a doormat to stay out of the narcissist's way.
Yeah.
But what will ultimately happen, it will flatten your personality and you will become depressed and anxious and stressed and sad. So it's really important to know that you are not the problem, but that you likely have work to do, a lot of work to do, so that you can stay strong, so that you can hopefully get the narcissist to go to therapy with you. Narcissists tend to not like therapy because they don't like the truth.
Yeah.
Remember, narcissists were never told the truth as children. They were never told, you make mistakes and that's okay. Let's just learn how to fix them. Or you're not the golden child, whatever it is. They were never told the truth, because often a parent was either an addict or abusive or something. So something that didn't allow the child to grow up feeling safe and loved.
Yeah.
So again, if you're in the relationship with a narcissist, first and foremost, get help for yourself. Next, see if the narcissist will go into therapy with you. Change is absolutely possible. So if the narcissist says and begins to say, I can see that I have some issues to work on. Yes, I want to go to relationship therapy, or I want to do individual therapy. That's absolutely fabulous, because then they'll change their life, they'll change the relationship, and they'll change the lives of every person around them who sees a gentler human being. Now, most narcissists are male. 75% about of narcissists are male, which leaves us with 25% that are women. So we want to realize that I'm talking also about women, not just men. The preponderance are males. We want to be able to realize that change is possible, but we don't want to allow ourselves, whether we're a man or a woman, to be abused by the narcissist. And sometimes the only way to deal with the narcissist, especially if they're, abusive, and they often are, is to leave the relationship if the narcissist is showing no signs of being willing and wanting to change for the better.
Thank you for watching. Have you recognized these traits in yourself or in someone close to you? Well, you have been educated. Please remember to subscribe, like, comment, and click on the notification bell. See you in the next video. God bless.